Welcome to this webinar, and thank you very much for being here with us. It is a real pleasure to see some familiar names and faces. I'm here with Vanessa. She's our sales manager in LegaleGo, and she has been working here for more than 4 years now. And myself, my name is África, and I am the general manager in LegaleGo. And let me introduce also a little bit of our company. I know many of you are already working with us, so you know more or less what we do, but some of other you are new. So LegaleGo is a food consultancy company. We started working in the food supplements area more than 10 years ago, and we are focused in helping our clients with the translation, label review, and notification of food supplements in most European countries. We have a list of 20 countries in which we can help you. One of them is also the United Kingdom and the USA. And I have to say that 90% of our work is linked to food supplements, but we also are working at the moment with cosmetics and with pet supplements. So just for that, you know. I give you the time to Vanessa, and she will make the introduction, and she will let you know about the general overview in the European Union in relation to food supplements registration.
Okay, hello, nice to meet you all. In that webinar, as my colleague has told you, we are going to talk about the different processes to place food supplements on the market. We have done this webinar because some of our clients ask us in which countries can I sell my product now, or what are the process to place my food supplements in Portugal, for example. And we see that there are many brands that have the potential to increase their sales, and maybe they are not aware of that. So we are going to explain all the process in all of the countries that we are able to help you, because selling in Europe requires more than merely copy and pasting labels. And our main objective here is to facilitate your growth and to expand your food supplements in different new countries.
I think that, let's make it just as a conversation. We have a lot of clients, and they think that as far as they have their products notified in one country, in the European Union, they can sell the product in all the countries, but that's not correct. It doesn't exist an only notification process for all the European countries. That's not correct. We have to go country per country, and this is sometimes the first surprise that some manufacturers or distributors find when they want to sell and go to other countries.
Exactly, because it exceeds an European regulation, but then we have to take into account the internal regulation of each single country where you want to launch your food supplement. For example, an example is food supplement with vitamin D. The maximum daily limit here in Spain is 100 micrograms of vitamin D, but then, for example, in France and Italy market, the limit is set in 50 micrograms. So one food supplement with 100 micrograms, it's okay for Spain, but not for Italy and for France, for example.
Yeah. Also, another example is that in France, recently, in April, I think it was, they prohibited the Garcinia cambogia plant. So you cannot sell any kind of food supplements with Garcinia cambogia in France at the moment, and this prohibition will take for 1 year. But however, you can do it in Spain or in Ireland or in Italy. So
yes, yeah. Or for example, the melatonin is an ingredient that is forbidden in Ireland, but for example, then you can start selling in Spain in case that you notify through the principle of mutual recognition, or in France or Italy if the limit is below 1 milligram. So we have to be careful to do, first of all, the formulated check compliance. This is the first step to see that all the ingredients of our products are allowed in each single country where you are interested to sell your food supplements. Then we will take care of the translations or create the minimum mandatory text in order to you to create the artwork. Then also we will check the label itself, the label check compliance, in order to see that all the requirements on the label are okay in the official language of the country where you want to start selling, because they are not simply translations. For example, there is a mandatory warning for food supplement that is keep out of reach of young children. But in Italy, it's not the same. It's keep out of reach of children under 3 years old. So we will take care of everything: health claims, pictures, name of the product, everything. And once the labels are totally okay, we will continue with the last step, is the process of notification. The process to obtain the pre-market authorization, that is the document that you will need in order to be able to sell in each single market. And also is the document that you will have to send to Amazon in order to allow you to sell your food supplements.
Exactly. To sum up, we always talk about 3 steps: translation to the local language where you will sell your products, label check compliance, considering the European regulation, but also the specific regulation of that country where you want to sell. And final, once you have the final artwork of the artwork of the product ready, we can start the process of notification before the food authority relevant. In each country is different. So these are the 3 mainly steps that in LegaleGo we can help you for launching your products in other countries.
And what consists the process? In the process, we must to apply with the correct label in each single country, the details regarding its composition of the product, the ingredient, information about the distributor, the manufacturer, as another document that we will take care in order to simply do the process of notification in each single country.
Exactly. The process of notification is in Spain, for example, and in most European countries, it works like a responsible declaration, meaning that you submit the label to the authorities and all the rest of documents that we must provide. And from that moment, you can start selling. Even if there are any kind of mistake, you will be able to start selling, because this works as a responsible declaration from the food business operator. But the only difference you are looking in the presentation, we have some countries in which we talk about authorization instead of communication. At the end, it's exactly the same, because it's a responsible declaration from the food business operator, and you will always be responsible for the product in that market. I mean, although we talk about authorization, this is not a real authorization. This means that in some countries, for example, in France or in Belgium, you can't start selling the product until the authority give you the pre-market authorization. And in order to receive the pre-market authorization, the authority will check the label before. So they will make like an audit of the label, and only if everything is okay, they will give you the pre-market authorization. However, again, I repeat, this doesn't mean that this is an authorization and the authority will assume any kind of responsibility. That is absolutely not the case. The food business operator will be the responsible always. And here you have the countries in which we work and the differences, so that you know that, for example, in France, Belgium, Bulgaria, Romania, and Hungary, it's like an authorization, meaning the authority will take their time to review everything, and only if that's okay, you will be able to start selling your product. It will take more time. However,
and then there are other countries where we can start selling at the same time we notify, because at the same time we submit all the documents, we will receive the pre-market authorization. That countries are Spain, Germany, Italy, Ireland, Portugal, Finland, Luxembourg, Slovakia, and Czech Republic. We don't have to wait until we receive any kind of approval or confirmation.
We have other clients asking us for Norway or for Denmark, and please come back to the previous one. Yeah. No. Sorry. This is the list of the countries where we can help you. However, as I was saying before, some countries as Norway, they are not included here. Why? Because in Norway, this is not European Union, and what we know is that you need a local distributor in this country. So we only offer the countries in which LegaleGo has a lot of experience and we know how to do it. So Denmark is another country that at the moment we can't help you because we are not sure about the process of notification. But all the countries we will talk here now in detail, we have long experience and we know how to do it, and we can offer guarantee of doing our job good and offering you a good service.
And also there are other countries that does not have a process of notification. I mean, at the same moment that we have the label totally okay in compliance with the regulation and the internal regulation of each single country, you would be able to start selling at the same moment. That countries are Sweden, United States, United Kingdom, Austria, and the Netherlands.
Exactly. This is sometimes some clients find this strange because they are waiting us to give them a pre-market authorization, but it doesn't exist at the moment. These countries doesn't have a process of registration of food supplements, so we can't give you nothing. Maybe we can offer you a certificate of compliance. This is also very common when you are selling your products in some marketplaces as Amazon, because you will show Amazon the pre-market authorization of your products, but then it's very frequently that Amazon asks for a certificate of compliance. And if we in LegaleGo, we have helped you with the label check compliance and the process of notification, we put together the pre-market authorization and our certificate of compliance, and Amazon and other marketplaces will allow you to market the products. And this happened in Sweden or Austria or the Netherlands, because here it doesn't exist a process of notification. So once we confirm the label is final and okay with the regulation of the country, you can start selling. There are any kind of documents to give you the opportunity to show Amazon because it doesn't exist. We could give you our certificate of compliance.
Yes, Safi, it is our own certificate that states that LegaleGo as a lawyers have checked the label and that everything is okay, because we have already checked that everything is in compliance.
Exactly.
And now we are going to talk about the specific countries requirements, and we are going to talk like in blocks. So Africa is going to talk about some kind of countries, then I am going to talk about another ones. And in case that you have any kind of question, I think that it is better to hands up the hand and to ask us in case you have any kind of question.
Before coming into detail with the first 4 countries, which are Spain, France, Germany, and Italy, I don't know if you have any kind of question of all the information we have shared at the moment. In case someone wants to ask something, please let us know and we will be happy to answer. Process of notification, yes. The 4 countries have a process of notification of food supplements before the authority. The only difference is France. In France, if you remember, we were telling before that some countries have an authorization process, another is a notification. So France is a great country to notify food supplements. Why? Because you will not receive the pre-market authorization in France until the authorities have checked the label and they confirm everything is okay. They will check in detail. Also, they will pay attention to the claims. So, what's the problem with France? The timing. If you are in a rush, you have to consider that authorities will answer you in 4-6 weeks. It really depends on each submission. Maybe we are very lucky and we find the resolution from France in 3-4 days. Sometimes we have seen that. But as an average, let's say 1 month. And it's very good because once you have the pre-market authorization from France, authorities will know that in other countries also, if you show this authority from France in other countries, authorities will know that France have checked the label. So this makes your products with more guarantees. Good news in France is that there are no tax for authorities, so it's free. You don't have to pay nothing to the authorities in France. So this is, I like a lot how this country works because it's not as expensive. You have the guarantee that the authority will check your label, and the regulation is very clear. They have a lot of regulation, but everything is clear. It's true that the regulation in France sometimes includes some mandatory warnings for some kind of plant extract, and these warnings are not required in other countries, but it's a good one. And okay, Spain, it's fast. In Spain, as soon as you notify the product before the authority, you will receive the pre-market authorization and you can start selling the product. So this is very good. Two issues that we have in Spain. There is a tax for food business operator coming from the European Union. The tax is 128 euros and 16 cents per product. If you would be located in Spain, the tax is different. It depends on the city you are located. But for European companies, not in Spain, the tax is always the same, 128 per product. And another issue that we have in Spain is that we don't have a lot of regulation. So if you want to sell food supplements in our country, in Spain, first of all, you need to show authorities that your product has been previously notified in another EU country. We can take care of everything, and we know exactly how to do it, but just so that you know. Then we have Germany. Germany is great. It's great and it's easy.
Very fast.
Yeah, and very fast and no tax. So it's like the same as in Spain, but there are no taxes and you don't need to prove nothing. You don't need to show authorities that the product is already notified in another EU country. So this is fast. The thing in Germany is that, of course, the label must be in German language. In France, the label must be in French language. In Spain, we need a Spanish language in the label. But in Germany, the thing is that the regulation is not totally clear. Why? Because they have a lot of recommendation from authorities, but this is not a real law. These are recommendations, and sometimes we have questions in some ingredients, but it's a great country. More and more people are selling in Germany, and it's not very expensive because there is no tax, and it's very fast. You notify before the authority, and in that moment, you will receive the pre-market authorization and you can start selling. And Italy. Italy is the last of the first four countries. Italy is also a great country, but let me explain to you. First, let's say we have two issues. The first one is that in order to notify food supplements in Italy, you need to access the online system of notification in Italy, and you need to receive credentials. What are credentials? Credential is a username and a password. It's easy, but in order that the authorities give you the credentials, you need to show the authorities that you are a food business operator. And for sure, you must be located in the European Union. But authorities will check that in the paper, in the official papers of your company, it says that the activity of your company is food business operator, related to food supplements, whatever. But you must be a food business operator. Once Italian authorities receive the information about your company, they have 1 month to give you the credentials. So this is time that you have to consider if you are in a rush to sell your products in Italy. Once you have the credentials, user and password, then the process is very, very fast. It works the same as in Germany or in Spain. As soon as you notify before the authority in Italy, you will receive the pre-market authorization and you can start selling. Another issue, the tax. You have to pay 160.20 euros per product to the authorities, okay? And this is the first block of products. I don't know if any of you want to make a question of Spain, France, Germany, and Italy, or if everything is clear. Just let us know before moving to another countries. Any question? Very clear. Okay. Great. So Vanessa will continue with another 4 countries.
Okay, now we are going to talk about Belgium, Ireland, Poland, and Portugal. In that case, we have differentiate between authorization or communication, as my colleague has previously told. In that countries, all of them are communication except Belgium that acts as an authorization. It's the same process as in France. What is the issue here? That we have to pay a very high administrative fee.
This is the most expensive fee in Europe.
So we have to pay a very high fee for the notification of each single product where you want to place on that market. Also here, the regulation is quite strict, like happens in France. They have normally more warnings than other EU countries, but we know exactly all the regulations, so it is not a quite problem. The only problem is that we have to wait until we receive the approval, like in France, between 4-6 weeks, and also that we have to pay a very high administrative fee. The other special point here in that country is, unless the main language here is the French language, it is true that depending on the local region where you want to start selling your food supplements, the food authority could ask you also for the Dutch and German language. So the most important and correct thing to do is to have a multi-language label with the 3 languages.
However, we have clients that they are notifying in Belgium just in French language, and everything is okay. But in the pre-market authorization authorities, it's a comment. It's a comment, and they include, if you want to sell in Wallonia, you need to include the Dutch language. If you want to sell in Flanders, I don't remember exactly, but they make you a warning that if you want to sell in all the territory in Belgium, you should add the 3 languages. But with French, we can get it also.
And the other 3 countries are very interested. Why? Because they are very quick. Because at the same time we notify in Ireland the English label, in Poland the Polish label, and in Portugal the Portugal label, we will obtain the pre-market authorization. That is the document that you would need in order to start selling. And also a very important point is that there is no any kind of administrative fee. So we don't have to pay in order to place your food supplements there. So we think that the 3 countries are very interesting if you are thinking to launch your food supplement. And also we know that Poland has recently also included in the pan-EU Amazon plan. So it is very important.
I would like to add that I like a lot Ireland because Ireland is very fast, as you can see here. Labeled in English, so it's easy. And but the only thing in Ireland is that they have a very general regulation, and they normally accept a lot of ingredients and plant extract, except melatonin. I don't know why, but in Ireland, melatonin is considered a medicine, and you can sell products, food supplements with melatonin in Ireland. But it's the only specific ingredient which is prohibited, comparing with the other countries, but just so that you know.
I don't know if you have any kind of question regarding these 4 countries. If not, we continue.
Okay, let's continue. In case you have, thank you. In case you have any question, please do not make any problem to put your hand up, and we can talk, and we will be very happy to answer you in case we are missing something, or in case you need any more specific information, okay? Because this is just a general information of each country so that you know how it works. But for sure, there are a lot more to say about each of one, but it's okay. We will continue, and let's see. Okay, next 4 countries: Bulgaria, Finland, Sweden, and Luxembourg. Bulgaria, we have been working recently in Bulgaria, and we know a lot of clients are interested in this country. Process of notification, yes. This is a notification fast, more or less. You need 14 days. Once you submit the notification, you have to wait for 14 days to receive the confirmation from the authority. Internal regulation, absolutely, yes. And language, Bulgarian. And no fees. But what's the issue in Bulgaria? And we have been very, very surprised. In Bulgaria, they will check that the company is previously inscribed in a sanitary registry there. So this is an issue we have been finding in the last weeks, and we are working on that. So in case you have a company in Bulgaria and you want to sell food supplements in Bulgaria, you will need to be registered in the sanitary registry. This is very important. Otherwise, you will not be able to register your products in this country.
And also another point is that we have to wait until 14 days in order to obtain the pre-market authorization, but we will receive also a registered number. That registered number then must be included in the label. So it is very important not print the label and then receive this number, because we have to add them in the label we design in the artwork.
Exactly. Finland, it is in the European Union. It exists a notification process. It's very fast. And also we have to consider their internal regulation. Here we have an administrative fee to be paid to authorities of 100 per product. Like a special condition is that labels must be in Finnish, but also in Swedish. They will not accept only Finnish in the label, so both languages must be included. Sweden. In Sweden, it works the same as the Netherlands or Austria. There is no process of notification. This is a special country. Label must be in Swedish language, and they have a lot of regulation that must be considered. But once we have the label in Swedish language and we confirm that it's okay with the regulation, you could start selling in this country with any kind of problem. So this is great. And the last one here is Luxembourg. We are also receiving requests from clients interested more and more in this country. So I guess the consumption of food supplements here is increasing. And yes, it exists a process of notification. It's very fast, the same as in Portugal or in Ireland or in Spain. So it's a communication. As soon as you notify the product in Luxembourg, you receive the pre-market authorization, and from that moment, you will be able to sell your products. And the language in the label must be French and German, and no fees. So everything is great. Just to point out something that I think we didn't say before, for all countries, it's absolutely important that the company which is in the label of the product, which is the responsible of the notification, it must be a company with registered address in any country of the European Union. I think we should have told that before, and I think we forgot about that, but it's very important. You must have a company with registered address in the European Union. Switzerland is not the European Union, or United Kingdom, or Norway. So that's the first point to check, okay? Just so that you know.
Do you have any kind of question regarding these 4 countries?
No. Okay, we continue. Okay, so for Sweden, like in the Netherlands, only the certificate of compliance is enough to pass. Exactly. Even it's possible that you even don't need the certificate of compliance. Okay, so maybe with just the label in the language and adapted to the regulation, you can start selling. And only if Amazon requires you to provide any kind of support, we will give you the certificate of compliance. So even it is not necessary, the certificate of compliance, but we will be happy to offer you if you need it, okay?
Sometimes also happens not from any EU country, but there are products that could be considered between food supplement or food product. For example, the proteins. The proteins are foods, not food products in some cases. It would depend on the ingredients, the quantity of sweeteners, for example.
The daily dose.
Yeah, exactly. So there are sometimes there are protein or food products that are considered like food and not food supplement, and our clients want to sell through Amazon. What's happened that we don't have enough the pre-market authorization, because food product mustn't have to be notified through the authorities. So in that cases, we also create the certificate of compliance signed by us, stating that the category of the product, why we have considered that it's a food product and not food supplement, that The thing is, in case that Amazon can have mistakes and make mistakes, we can help you to try to defend your food supplement or your food product through this marketplace.
Exactly. This is very frequently. If you have products with proteins or creatine, but more or less with whey protein, it's very frequently. Sometimes you say, this is a food supplement. Okay, but proteins are in the limit between food supplements and normal food. If they are food supplements, they will require the notification. They must be notified before the authority, and you will need to have the pre-market authorization. But if you have a product with protein, whey protein, and we finally decide this is not a food supplement and this is normal food, then you don't need to notify the product before the authorities, because this is not a food supplement. Only food supplements must be notified before the authority, not normal food. And proteins are just in the limit between each category. Yeah. Sometimes I'm reading what this assistant says. Sometimes they told us your product is considered like a exactly. This is what I told before. For example, in Ireland, if you are using melatonin in Ireland, this can't be considered a food supplement. This is medicine. It also happened in Spain with the NAC. How you say NAC in English?
N-acetylcysteine. I don't know if it is correctly.
I will write it here. NAC. N-acetylcysteine. We know this is an ingredient used in food supplements. The thing is that, for example, in Italy, you can include until 600 milligrams of NAC in food supplements. But in Spain, we have an internal regulation from the Agency of Medicines, and here at the moment in Spain, it's only allowed until 300 milligrams of NAC. Otherwise, if you increase the amount of 300 milligrams of NAC in the food supplement, it will be considered a medicine. So we have to fight between food supplements, medicines, and normal food. Absolutely, if this is a medicine, in LegaleGo, we don't work with that kind of products. We wouldn't be able to help you with that. But if this is food supplement or normal food, we will be able to help you.
But for example, if you have a product that exceeds some kind of limit from some ingredients and it is considered a medicine, we are going to tell you. I mean, maybe we can reformulate the product, or we can reduce the dosage in order to take less quantity to not be considered a medicine and to be considered a food supplement. So we can adjust the product in order to comply with the internal law of the country where you want to start selling.
Exactly. This is a common fight between the medicine industry and the food supplement industry, right? Medicine industry wants that more and more products are considered medicines and not food supplements. We are fighting every day with these issues, so we know what you mean. I don't know if you have any other question, and if we have answered your question. If not, please try again. Okay,
so we will continue.
We will continue with the next 4 products. Oh, USA.
Yeah. The next countries are USA, UK, Austria, and Romania. Okay, USA and UK are not from EU. Okay, are outside the EU. So what is very important here from both countries? There is no notification process, so we are not going to notify any food supplement through the authority. But for example, in order to be able to place in USA the food supplement, our company must be registered in the FDA. So the first step will be to apply for the registration of each company in the FDA assessment.
Let me. Yeah. And also, it's new from this year. Authorities in the USA will ask you to inform about the place where you will store your products. And you must inform if this is your company storing your products in the USA, or if you will use a third company for the storage of the products. And if this is a third company, this company will also need to be inscribed in the FDA.
And also it's very important that in order to be able to place the food supplements there, we would need an address or a distributor there, because in the label must appear, or a company, okay, that it's not mine if it is an EU company, but then a company, distributor, warehouse, address in USA. And the same happens in the United Kingdom. We need also there an operator in order to be in the labels.
I have to say, in the United Kingdom, that it appeared in October 22 after Brexit, and the regulation said that you must include an address in the UK if you want to sell your products in the UK. But we have a lot of clients selling in the UK with no address there, and they say they don't have any kind of problem. So I'm happy with that. But
we are the bads.
Yeah, we have to tell you about that, because, okay, it's good that at the moment authorities are not checking the address in the UK, and I'm happy that you can sell it. But I don't know if now, next week, or in the near future, it will be a requirement, and they will pay attention to that. Just so that you know, an address in the USA, an address in the UK must be included in the label.
Exactly.
But then you can decide.
Exactly. And also both labels must be in English, but it's very important to bear in mind that the USA requirements for the label are totally different than EU countries or includes UK. So for USA, we recommend you to have a single language for that country, because we have to organize the label between each requirement in left side, in the front,
yeah,
right
there are
side.
3 panels, right?
Yeah.
3 panels in the label. Each panel must contain...
And maybe the denomination of the product could not be in the right side. You have to indicate mandatory in the left side. So it is very important, if you are planning to launch your food supplement there, to have a single label for that country, because have different requirements, and it's very difficult to try to comply at the same time with the EU requirements with the USA one. So it is a very important point. Also, they are free of charge. I mean, like there is no any kind of notification process. We don't have to pay for any administrative fee. So it is very good point.
I would like to add something very important. And for example, products coming from the USA to Europe. Okay. Why? Because the ingredients allowed in the USA, maybe they are not allowed in the European Union. And I can give you an example which we have worked with. It's the monk fruit. The monk fruit is a sweetener, and in the USA there is no problem to include in the products, but monk fruit in the European Union is prohibited, and you can't include that in the label. So if you are thinking of importing to the European Union products from the USA or from South America or from China,
from not EU countries,
if you are importing the products from outside the European Union, we absolutely recommend you to, first of all, confirm that all the ingredients would be allowed in the European Union, because some of them are allowed in the USA but not here.
Exactly. We can help you with the feasibility study of each ingredient, with each quantity, in order to be able to see, first of all, if the formula and the product are able to be placed in EU countries. Maybe it's okay for France and not for Italy, because it is true that I have commented there is internal regulation for each single country, but this would be the first step to do. Then we have Austria and Romania. In Austria, like in the Netherlands, there is no any kind of notification process. So as soon as we have the label to tell, okay, we can start selling. We will have to take into account the internal regulation in that country, and the label must be in German language. And finally, we have Romania. Romania has a process of notification. In that case, it's not like a communication, it is like the authorization. So we have to wait until receive the approval from the health authorities, and it could take between 3 months. So it is true that in that country we have to wait more than other EU countries. So if you are planning to launch your food supplements in Romania, we recommend you to start with this country, because we have to wait a lot of time in order to be able to start selling here. we will take care of the internal regulation in that country, and the label must be in Romanian language. At that point, is like we have to pay an administrative fee for notification of each single product. So it's 90 euros.
Exactly. Before continuing with the next 4 countries, I wanted to point you out about the very important that is, if you are a distributor or if you are a manufacturer and you have clients that want to sell their products in different EU countries, it would be, and I love to start working with our clients from the real beginning of the process. I mean, when you are deciding the formulation of the products, the list of ingredients and the daily dose, the maximum daily dose, it's great when we start working with you from the beginning, because in LegaleGo, we will help you to confirm the formulation. If you know that your client want to sell the products in Spain, the USA, Austria, and Poland, it's very important that you know in advance, once you are defining the formulation, that everything will be allowed in the countries. If you, sometimes we can help the clients in this, from this moment, from the beginning, and this is absolutely great, because they are very happy and they know from the beginning that everything will be smoothly in the future. But if we have the product already manufactured, already produced, and then we have this, and the client want to sell this in 3 countries or in 10 countries, and then we say, okay, the product is great and you can sell it in Spain, France, but you can't sell it in Germany, in Austria, or in the UK. And I say, wow. So this is just so that you know the very important issue that we know from the formulation of the product, from the real beginning of the project, to have the assistance, so that you know that then in the future you will not have any problem with any country in which you want to sell. Otherwise, you need to reformulate the product, and I think that would be at the end more expensive than knowing from the beginning.
And also, if you are planning to launch some product for some purpose, for example, I don't know, I want a food supplement for the hair. Maybe if you know that you need a food supplement to the benefits for the hair, we can help you with the health claims. Okay, so include biotin, because biotin have legal claims to be added in the label in order to defend that name. So we have a lot of clients who told us, okay, we need a food supplement for these purposes, and this is the formulation. Exactly. It is okay, and we can help you with the label check compliance, but also with the health claims studies, in order to tell you, okay, you can indicate this health claim, but you have to reduce the quantity of each single vitamin, or add this mineral, because with this mineral you can write this benefit.
Exactly.
So we
work together with the marketing department of the companies, because we have to be connected. The legal regulation and the restriction that we have in the regulation about claims with marketing, because at the end you need to sell your products and you need to include claims in the labels. But claims are very strict, and you can only use the claims allowed by the regulation. But it's very important. And if we work together, as Vanessa said, if you want to make a product for your joints or the bones or the, I don't know, whatever, the hair, I don't know, whatever, it's very important that you include an ingredient which will allow you to inform about a claim. Because just another important thing, a product can't help you with nothing. I mean, you can't link a product with a claim. This is absolutely prohibited. You can link an ingredient with a claim, but not the product, only the ingredient.
I cannot say that if I take this capsule of this tablet, I will have benefits in my bones. But I can tell that this ingredient that is containing in that product can help me in whatever claim we need.
Claims are linked to ingredients, not to the product. Okay, let's continue, because I think we don't have time.
Sorry.
Okay, okay, I think these are, okay, great. These are the 4 last countries. We have Hungary, the Netherlands, Slovakia, and Czech Republic.
We are going to speed in these countries in case you have any kind of question, to leave some minutes for that. Okay?
Exactly. In Hungary, it's very similar to Romania. It takes a lot of time, 2-3 months, waiting for authorities to confirm that you can sell your product. Label must be in Hungarian language, and the fee is very high, 2.25 per product. But still, it's cheaper than Belgium. Remember Belgium, 2.95 euros per product. So, but okay, this is Hungary. The Netherlands. The Netherlands is great, and I know this country will be more and more requested by our clients, because if you are selling your products in Amazon, Spain, France, Italy, and Germany, the Netherlands will be requested soon from Amazon. So the Netherlands is very important, and also it's an easy country because it doesn't exist process of notification as in Austria or in the UK. But the label must be, it is very important, the label must be in Dutch language. English is not valid, okay? English is not valid for the Netherlands. You must include the label in Dutch language, absolutely mandatory. Slovakia, it exists a process of notification. It's fast. As soon as you notify the product, you receive the pre-market authorization, and the fee is 15 euros per product. So this is not very expensive. And Czech Republic, the same as in Slovakia. The thing is the language. It must be Czech language in the label. It's a communication, so you receive a pre-market authorization as soon as you submit the documents to the authority. No fee, right? It has no fee. So in LegaleGo, we have a complete team of food technicians, lawyers, and chemistry and nutritionists, and we help with all of the countries. Good thing here that all of us know how to work in each country. So it's great when we have a client and the same person in our team can help for the different countries they need. So you will not have one person per country. No sense. It's very more efficient that the same person can help you for all the countries you are interested in. This is more or less what we can do, what we can help you if you want to sell your products in other countries. And absolutely, we would be more than happy to help you with your expansion. And now we have, I think, 5 minutes time in case you have any question or you want to add something or whatever. Okay, in order to be registered in the FDA, we need to have all the information of your company. It is done online, and it's not very complicated. As I said before, we need the information of the company, but also we need to know about the storage of the products there, because now it's mandatory to inform authorities there about where will you store your products. And it's not very complicated. It can be done in 1 week time, more or less. Yeah. And no fees for that. So no, you don't have to pay any kind of government fee for that. You know, the FDA, it's great because you get registered, then you get your access to the registration. And sometimes they don't make any kind of control, or yes, you never know if it will be controlled or not. But it's the same in the European Union. You never know if you will receive a requirement from authorities. Okay. Any other question? Okay. Are there any requirements for product testing when importing into the US? It depends. It depends on the custom. You know, when custom receive all the products that are being exported to the US, it's a lottery. They can take one of them and they can ask you for some kind of requirement testing. They can ask you for the good manufacturing practices, or in case they have any question on ingredients, they can ask you. But we have a lot of clients also selling there, and they have not received requirements. So it really depends on each case. It's a lottery total.
And also they can ask you for the prior notice. The prior notice is a document that we can help you to apply for that contains all the information regarding the product. Are you going to export there or something like that?
In the prior notice, which is also normally required in the custom affairs, You also need to include the number of the flight in which the products are flying to the USA, the net quantity, exactly, the lot, the batch, so it depends.
Information regarding the product and like the traceability of the product until be in the USA.
You need to notify in every country where you want to sell. Amazon will ask you for the pre-market authorization. Maybe Amazon allows you to start selling your products. We have some clients and they don't have any kind of problem, but I promise you that in the near future, Amazon will block your account. Amazon will require you to show the pre-market authorization in Spain, France, Italy, Germany. Amazon knows everything. They work as an inspector. They know more than the sanitary authorities sometimes. So absolutely, Amazon will ask you to show the pre-market authorization in each country where you want to sell. Yeah, in the UK, Amazon UK asks a lot about the exactly. Yeah,
the same is the same.
It's the same
because Amazon asks you for the pre-market authorization, but it is true that food authorities, health authority will ask you at the same time for that document. It is mandatory to notify the product through the authorities in order to be able to start selling. And in case that you, for example, you don't do the notification process and they know that you did not notify the product, you can receive any kind of requirement or maybe a pay sanction.
I have to be honest, and I always tell our clients common sense. I mean, if you have one client only who asks you to send a product to Poland, you are obliged to include the Polish language in the label and to notify before the Polish authority. But it makes sense for just one client? I don't know. You are obliged to do that, but you make the decision. But if you have a lot of clients in Poland and you are selling a lot of products in Poland, you must do it. You must do it even if you have one client or 100 clients. But common sense. I always say to the clients, common sense. You are, it's a red line, but you must decide if you do it or not.
And also, for example, if you finally decide to sell your food supplement in pharmacies, in order to place the food supplements in pharmacy, you will require a national code. So in order to apply for the national code, you will need the pre-market authorization. So finally, it would depend also of the channel that you are going to sell, but mandatorily, you need that.
Okay, I think it's the end of the webinar. I don't know if anybody have any other question. Just the last one.
You can send us an email in order, or we can arrange a meeting in order to discuss or comment each situation.
Absolutely. If you don't have more questions or if you think later and you need to ask us something, please, you have our email address and we will be happy to explain to you in case you need any further information about any topic we have talked in the webinar. Gracias a ti, Lucia, and thank you very much everyone for assisting. We will share the slides, absolutely, sure. And thank you very much to all of you. It was a real pleasure, and I hope we can help you now or in the near future. We are here in case you need something.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye now. Bye.